It looks like the Jets might be doing something stupid again. Let's get into it.
Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field Gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor Gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever done.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
I just might lose my gosh darn bananas. Guys, I'm Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe down below. Let's get right into it. And this may be one of the most annoying things I've come into. This just in. This is a news that's just coming in here as we're recording this here on Tuesday, June 20th. According to Zach Rosenblatt, full article down below of The Athletic, the Jets have fielded multiple trade conversations about defensive lineman Bryce Huff. Here's the direct quote. Quote, I've heard the teams have called the Jets about trading for Huff this offseason, though nothing has materialized, end quote. While it's great and dandy that nothing has materialized, why the hell are you fielding trade calls for Bryce Huff? What do Jet fans have to do to... It's like the team doesn't value Bryce Huff in the same way that the fans do. Okay? Let's go through this. Okay? So Bryce Huff, okay, he is benched for the first 3 games of the season. And this is one of the excuses Robert Saleh said when asked on each week why Bryce Huff was inactive. One of the reasons he said is we have, quote, a lot of defensive linemen. What kind of excuse is that, man? What do you mean? None that are as explosive and have the get off as Bryce Huff. Last season, he had a 90-plus PFF overall grade, an 88 pass rush grade. Those are incredible numbers, and you consider that the Jets have not used him properly. He's played 3 seasons for the Jets. He only has 7.5 sacks and 22 some odd quarterback hits. So the reason is he'd have a lot more if the Jets used him a little more. If I did a trivia game and I asked you Jet fans at home, how many snaps do you believe Bryce Huff played last year? What would it be? Scream it out loud wherever you're watching. I'll give you the answer. 20%. 20%. That's all we're playing. I get the defensive line rotation thing. And through the breadth of the season, the coaches were proved right that their system and philosophy worked. The Jets defensive line was great. But you have to play Bryce Huff. And this is why I don't think the trade stuff is bullshit. I'm going to be honest. The reason why I don't think it is because look at how they've used him. Look at how the Jets have valued him. Not very much. They made him a healthy scratch. They would have had or preferred 10, 11 other defensive linemen not named Bryce Huff on the roster, whatever the number is on a week-to-week basis. They preferred all those guys over Bryce Huff. We have a lot of defensive linemen. Lame excuse. We want bigger bodies against the run. The most important thing is rushing the passer. The most important thing is taking down the opposing quarterback. You know, when I think about some of the biggest moments from the Jets season last year, one of them is Josh Allen getting strip sacked by Bryce Huff and the football flopping all around, the oblong-shaped football bouncing all around, and a fat Buffalo Bills hog molly dives on top of it as the clock's rolling because they're out of timeouts. And then we have the last second play of Josh Allen rolling out of the pocket to his left and is chucking it downfield to the Gabe Davis Sauce Gardner one-on-one play. Without that Bryce Huff play, maybe the Jets don't get the biggest upset win of the season. He is the Kraken. He needs to be utilized more. Stop with the trade nonsense. He's 25 years old. How many all-in championship contender teams do you know at home trade away 25-year-old talent? Because I ask you this, almost rhetorically, but I'll ask it anyway. What could you possibly get back for Bryce Huff that could equate to an elite sub-package pass rusher? Honestly, I'm asking the universe because if you get future draft compensation, you're making the team weaker. Bryce Huff is a really good player. So if you remove him from the puzzle and get a draft pick can't help you now. It can help you maybe in 2024. So why would you do that? That's dumb. And then say, okay, Paul, well, what about a player? What player is suddenly becoming available in a rare player for player swap working? Now, it worked a couple of years ago. As you guys may remember, Calvin Pryor, the Louisville Slugger, one of those great Jets first round draft picks, was traded mano a mano to the Cleveland Browns for some guy named Demario Davis, who we got in a reunion and have this Pro Bowl year. So occasionally a blind squirrel can find a nut. But I mean, for Pete's sake, I'm sure the other 31 teams would be interested. Why the hell wouldn't they be in Bryce Huff, who, by the way, was a restricted free agent this offseason? The Jets placed a second round tender on him, which means if any team would have signed Bryce Huff to an offer sheet and the Jets did not match, they would have received a second round pick in the 2023 NFL draft. That's what would have happened if it did, but it didn't. No team signed him to an offer sheet. He ends up signing his tender. He returns to the New York Jets for the 2023 season, but then the Jets continue to field trade calls. Rich Cimini actually predicted this over a month ago because 4 of the top 6 Jets defensive ends on the roster have guaranteed money in their contract, which means the Jets would probably not want to eat dead money, so that kind of ensures their roster spot. When you look at guys like Carl Lawson, who restructured his deal to join that group, John Franklin Myers to join that group, Jermaine Johnson, a former first-rounder, and Will McDonald once the contract is official there. The only 2 of the top 6 defensive ends that did not have guaranteed money and makes you just kind of squint a little bit and look if trade possibilities are there are Michael Clements, my favorite player on the team, and Bryce Huff. And Rich Cimini said back then he would not be surprised if Bryce Huff draws trade interest, and that's exactly what it looks like that has happened and transpired this offseason. But I just want to speak to the camera. For any of the Jets people out there, please, for the love of everything that's holy, do not trade Bryce Huff. It's a mistake. This is an all-in season. You have Aaron Rodgers. Championship team should be adding pieces to the puzzle, not taking them away, adding pieces in. And there's nothing more important than pass rushers. What Aaron Rodgers provides you, besides the thought and perception of going all in and winning a championship, is he should give you more leads. Do you want to know what more leads to? It leads to your pass rushers being able to pin their ears back behind their head and rush after the passer. You are going to have more opportunities in 2023 than ever before, quite frankly, and you're considering Joe Douglas. I get it. You say that you have to be a good GM, you have to take all calls, right? If someone calls me for Bryce Huff in the season that it is, I'm hanging up the phone and maybe a boop. You don't trade Bryce Huff. You don't even consider trading Bryce Huff. The only way you would ever even consider trading a guy like Bryce Huff is maybe you get a first round pick, you get something wild. Okay, you get something crazy, but that's not something I'm willing to do. So, by the way, this is freaking bonkers. Let us know in the comments down below what you think. There's also a full story. Also, we'll be doing a Jets giveaway. There is an article link down below with this news that I'm telling you about. And if you guys go to the heavy article and comment on the actual article, not just on YouTube, you will be entered in for a Jets giveaway contest. So, guys, don't just say, hey, comment number 1. Try to engage. Give us your thoughts and real opinions about this Bryce Huff situation. And again, if you have engaging comments, I will count it on the list. And we'll be doing some Jets giveaways this season. That'll be a unique way to hopefully build a cool Jets community that all you guys can communicate with and talk to each other back and forth. Again, all you need to do is provide an engaging comment of any kind, whether you think it's stupid trade or trade talks, whether you think it's right, whatever you want to think. Again, the article link is down below. Click on the article and then go to the comment section at the bottom of the article, and you will be entered in for our Jets giveaway. There's some memorabilia autographed items, a lot of cool stuff. I'm just letting you know if you want to get involved, that's how you do it. Boy Green is your guy. He does that for you. Also, since you're here, make sure you like the video and hit subscribe down below for more juicy New York Jets content. And hopefully the Jets aren't going to do something stupid this offseason. We can only hope. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.